She's a two-time national rowing champion, and she was captain of the University of Washington's rowing team. And then she went on to become one of the most followed local TV hosts in the world. And she won an Emmy for innovation in interactive media and interviewed global leaders and icons from Al Gore to Jennifer Lopez. She also is an entrepreneur. She co-founded a multi-million-dollar tech company, launched a feminine-driven NBA apparel line, and it has become one of the top 1% real estate agents in the US with over 100 million in sales. What I love about her is she is actually the queen of salt. She's co-founded this incredible salt. It's just like the most beautiful. It's like sprinkling golden love onto your food whenever you use it. And I just love it so much. So we're going to just drop into that and the commitment that she has to having a high vibrational mindset and really like using vibration to create. And I think both of us kind of learned this at a young age where vibration precedes form. And when you can visualize, and as an athlete, you get to practice this because you can practice winning and then get to that end result. But there's just so much to play with here. I can't wait to jump into this podcast, but also just get to know Jennie more. This is one of the reasons I love having a podcast is I just get to say, hey, come and talk with me because I love you. And I can't wait to learn more about you. Also, Jennie has a blended family with an incredible partner, and she has some codes on relationship that she shared with me. I was like, come onto my podcast and share these. So I just can't wait for all of it. Thank you for being on, Jennie, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. And Paige, I'm obviously a driven personality from all the accomplishments. Lived many lives. What I'm most proud of, though, is now changing my DNA to more stillness than driven. And something I really want to compliment you on is a lot of people don't get there. It's just such a beautiful feeling where you have nothing in your head and you can actually be so present that you see details of people right in front of you and you're actually super present. I think you're one of the only people that looked at me and said, look at the dots in your eyes. So that's one of my gauges. So I have 6 dots like freckles in my left eye. I have one in my right. And most people are not present enough. They're always thinking ahead to see someone, truly see them. So I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to have you in my world. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. We both have freckles in our eyes, so I think that's why we're supposed to be friends. Oh, so good. Well, first of all, tell us a little bit about Sapphire Salt because it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is you turn the lid, you take the lid off, and it says, "I love."
Can I grab one?
Yes,
Like,
show us.
be right back.
Show us this salt. But I just call her the Queen of Salt, and I want to geek out on this concept of salt being kind of having the codes for resonance and raising our vibration. I mean, our blood and our whole body totally depends on salt. And the quality of salt in our body is so key to our health.
This is not meant to be an ad for Sapphire Salt, but
I advertise away, girl. I'm like,
they are very important. They have a mission. So yeah, this is the soul, and this is what she's talking about, sort of the experience of it. You have the 2 love hearts on the top. It's about coding people at the heart of their home, and the women who gets their hands on this will know what to do with it. It's all about connection. So we grow up with 1 love heart, right? But it's actually 2 love hearts. It's connecting to yourself, it's connecting to your family, it's connecting to the food. And then you create that beautiful 3rd area in the middle, which if you look at is half of the infinity. So it's just, I just love that. So secretly coding people as they use this. And then under the lid, it says, I love us. And that is a beautiful painting I have in our garage. So every time we arrive at the house, I code our family with I love us instead of I love me, I love you. It's us. We're a tribe. We rise together. And so this salt, as you're secretly coding your family, every time they use it, you're dropping them from their head to their heart, which is what I think we're going to talk about, is really being in the vibration of high vibration, which is actually so much stronger than being in your head, and it affects everyone around you. And I'm just a little bit obsessed about it, but yeah. So
I love it so much. And what I'm obsessed with is coding the mind, coding the body, using frequency to literally create the outcomes that we want and the experience that we want. And I love that you're intentional. You're like, I am coding my children. We are repeating it. We are seeing it. We are thinking it. And that is how we create, that we program the mind. And it's also the intentional, like even symbolism is so
yeah,
powerful. The brain works in pictures and stories and symbols, and you're using these in even in the
in a
business
real
that you're
physical.
creating, but in the family
Yeah.
you're creating.
And
It's
there's actually a real science behind it. You're 10-ish% conscious, but 90% subconscious, which means you're constantly tracking things without knowing it. So I can actually really affect you by being and by putting symbols around you, even if I'm not talking to you. So we have so much power with our family, with our friends to help them and help their bodies get into this beautiful stillness speed. And the stillness is all about your nervous system. If you're in fight or flight, so if you're stressed, if you're always thinking ahead, you're not actually as strong in your body because you're like a tree that's closed up, and the branch will be easy to break. But if you're in this beautiful openness, then you actually are stronger. So it's all about helping people have their body stronger. When you're in that mode, you're in alignment, and that's when magic happens. That's when things start coming to you in the world, versus you're in trying to push and drive for goals. So it's all about getting your body into this beautiful state where magic can happen. And then you start to see things just come to you, like this podcast for me. And
so what about the structure of salt? Like if we can dive into just
yeah,
that is so fascinating, and just how I think of myself when I'm depleted of the right salts and the electrolytes and things. My body, it's I feel like like
it's
my leaves are wilting, you know,
yeah.
and that it makes my blood strong, it makes my body strong. But
Mhm.
having the tell us about your
Yeah,
salt and
so
why it's
I
so
grew
great.
up in Adelaide, Australia, which is a coastal town in Australia, and I grew up right by the beach. And were just like medicine women growing up. Like we went to natural things. That's my nonna, my grandma is from Italy, a beautiful northern town. And I'm just realizing now, I think she was a medicine woman because I spent a lot of time with her after school. She was who I was with, and she would feed me garlic if I got sick. She would have honey around. She would have brandy and alcohol. And then she'd have the plants outside that she grew as well. And salt was a big part of growing up. So as an athlete, I would go into the ocean and I would walk. Or if I was hurt or injured, we would go into the ocean and have the salt help you recalibrate. Even putting it on your food or the electrolytes and things that, it can help your body with too. Recently, I've heard, so as I'm being stillness, I start to get access to my guides and voices that I feel like call me to what I'm meant to do in life. And the way the salt was actually birthed is my husband and I did 30 days of stillness. We actually stopped all our projects. And it was, I look at your face, it was terrifying for a person like me to sit with nothing. And that's when the salt was birthed. It came through to us. I do believe there's a field of creation that the world wants, and someone else would have got this if it wasn't me that took this in, and that it's meant to come to the world. This salt is actually Australian ocean sea salt from about 150 miles from, sorry, kilometers from, I have to switch back and forth between Australian and American from where I grew up. It's a beautiful cove that's super peaceful. It's solar harvested, and this salt has an energy around it. I do believe it carries codes. Salt is crystals as well. And then the way you activate the codes, you can use it with honey. Honey is a real activation source to divine as well. So it's more than just a table salt. It helps clear out your body and helps your body hear its natural signals. And our body is designed for the best for us. It knows the weight we should be. It knows what we can be to be optimized. So if you can get as clean as you can in your body, then your body will do the work for you. And even I have it's a macabre that it's crystal that has a beautiful sound. I put the salt under it and the salt formed into a love heart. So you know how water has elements, and you can
Yeah,
freeze it with different
frequency.
intentions. Yeah, so the salt did that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Um,
I believe it.
and
It's
I mean,
so
just for
cool.
rituals, I pour it in my bath. I put it around the four corners of our property, put it on the doorstep. Some people have put it in their bras to call in to call in a divine man. It's like,
Like whatever, just use its magic. I love
yeah,
how you also put what psyllium husk something
yeah.
in
So
it.
it has chia seeds, psyllium husk, and flax seeds. And these are all ancient, beautiful plant healing substances. So chia expands 50 times in your stomach, and it's been used by warriors for endurance because it holds the water. And then the psyllium husk actually is clearing you out. So it has a lot of fiber to really clear out your stomach. And then the flax is used for weaving. So it weaves together the food. So you actually feel the food in your stomach. Whereas a lot of seasonings make you want to eat more to help our economy, to help you buy, to help you overeat.
Yeah.
This actually allows your body to feel when it's full and stop eating and allows you sovereignty of your energy system and when to say yes and when to say no. So we're not cutting off the signals that are around us to help power these other areas as well.
That
Oh,
is
I can geek out over salt forever. There's like minerals that you don't want to have in it. So I'm
I love
learning a
that
lot.
so much. I didn't even realize it. I was just like, oh, it looks more pink. And so I like it. But I know that when I'm reaching for, I have three different salts, Redmonds and just
Yeah,
regular, and I'll always reach for it. It's just like, oh, this is the one that even my body and just that I just want it,
I
So
love
I think
hearing that.
it's an energetic thing. It's just a health thing. It's so cool. So check it out. How do they even find out about now that
Okay,
this has become, I mean, it's
this
just
is,
where we
oh
go,
my
but
gosh,
where do they
we
find
got to
it?
get into like important stuff, but it's called Sapphire Salt, which is actually our last name. So our last name is Sapp, S-A-P-P, and we got married in February last year. And as a normal woman, I think, I don't know if other women do this, but I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna add this last name, I need to know the heritage from this. And I thought it was sap, like a tree, which I thought, oh, that's cool, nature. But ChatGPT said, no, it's double P, so it's the sapphire lineage. So SAPPHIRE, which to me, the higher is higher consciousness. So people that see me know I'm Sapphire, but like the normal everyday people just call me Sap. So so it's called Sapphire Soul and it's just sapphiresoul.com. So
My gosh, how
yeah.
beautiful. I'm so glad we dove into this because the story is incredible. The little details, okay. So let's dive in to this concept. Oh, so Jennie and I were together and her husband was there and they were just giving me these codes about relationship and it was so beautiful. And then afterwards she sent me this Marco Polo that blew my mind. I've been talking about it ever since. I tell everyone, and I was just like, just
I
come onto
love
my
Marco
podcast. You have
Polo.
to share these codes.
Isn't it awesome? You can be witnessed. I can geek out.
It was so good. So I can't wait to just dive into this. Really, I mean, we could go into so many different
Different areas.
realms with Jennie, but this is something that I want to just dive into yeah, go ahead and just
Yeah.
share this concept that you have around relationship.
Yeah, so first off, I've realized recently I see things in energy and then I see it in an image. So my brain beautifully gives me an image so I can explain it how I'm seeing it. And then I put words on it. So where English is actually my third language. And I've had trouble throughout my life really being misunderstood. And I didn't quite feel like I fit anywhere. And I've had a lot of social anxiety about that. So this is the me coming out talking like this. So thank you for giving me a safe space to be who I really am, but just want to let you know as I'm talking, that's how I'm translating and seeing things. So I'm going to talk a lot about visuals to explain the concept, because that's closer to my natural language of energy, if that makes sense.
Love it.
Um, so a lot of the visuals are gifted through Mother Nature. And so I feel like we have the codes, we have the energetic roadmap all in front of us. An example would be you see one sun in the sky. Our energetic bodies, I believe, are a sun in the middle of us and we shine out. So, as a leader, you don't want to take people's suns. You actually want them to look internal and work on their sun. So, a lot of leaders are me, look at me. And so they're getting a lot of your energy. Whereas if you can be a sun, you can inspire other people's bodies because we are mirroring creatures. So we mirror to walk, whereas a lot of animals are born walking. And so if you're shining like your sun, my body, my subconscious, my 90% is going to start to change that. So the best way to impact the world is to impact yourself first. But we only see one sun. Isn't that interesting? But there are billions of suns out there in the solar system. So Mother Nature is just telling us to focus on ourselves. This is who we need to be. We need to be the shining sun, but also realize that everyone else is a sun too, and we all rise each other. You don't take from me if I'm rising. I don't take from you if you're rising. We actually all have a complementary gift that we can all rise together. So,
This is so good. Can I pause for a second? Because
yeah.
this is exactly what I teach. It's just in a different. So the way I explain this is, you never give your energy away. You
Mhm.
always hold your own energy, but you help people to find theirs, right?
Yeah.
So I learned this 10, 15, 20 years ago, probably from this yoga teacher. And I was like, what? I don't give my energy away?
Yeah.
Like, it was a completely different kind
Hmm.
of concept for me, and learning how to hold my energy. And then the other thing that, like, I say so often is, the more you are who you are in the world, the more Jennie that we get on the planet, the better the entire world is, right? The
Yeah.
better you are, the better the whole world is. And oftentimes we try to be like someone else, or we think we should be. And it's just like, no, just be your fullest
You.
expression, please,
And
because
it's
the
an
entire world is so much
ecosystem.
better.
Yes, we're an ecosystem that all works together. And that's how the magic happens because now you're in tune with the ecosystem and what's meant for you will come to you. It's so beautiful. There is another level on that, which I've seen in my downloads, is as a sun, you have planets that orbit around you. So it's really easy to grab onto an orbit and them drain you. So it's really important when you connect with community, when you connect with partnership, that you consciously have sovereignty about the orbit. Is this an orbit that has an energetic system that's good for me? So, for example, doing this podcast, if you had said, "Oh, I can only do it in the evenings from 6 to 9 p.m.," I am a busy mother and my evenings are usually like going to track and everything like that with my kids. It doesn't work for me. So that orbit wouldn't have worked. I would have said thank you, but no. But you're a person where it works in the day, it works in my schedule. So yes, I'll attach to that orbit. And you're actually attaching to your orbit is actually fueling my sun. It's not taking from my sun. So as you work out partnerships, as you work out things you're going to do, just really realizing, am I attaching to an energetic system that fuels my sun or that takes from my sun as well? And that's something that I've had to learn over time because I was attached to a lot of energetic systems, had commitments, had things that I was doing that felt like a yes inside, but it was draining me. And so when I realized, okay, that energetic system's not right, but the yes, the codes I'm going to learn from that is right, let me find someone who has those codes that has the right energetic system for me. So it's really learning sovereignty because you can control your energetic system. And I spent a lot of my life not controlling it, not knowing it. But once you can control it and you know it's yours, it's so empowering to do as well. So
No,
that's a little bit on the sun, but the example. So
I
going,
love the example of it being space, and really there's black holes in space. There's things
Mhm.
that will, and there's succubus humans that want to take more than
Yeah.
they're contributing, or like there's the takers, or like we have these different words for, and not to label people, but there's just certain people that you go around, you're like, whew,
Right.
because they need to, they're needing to take someone else's energy because they're not sourcing for themselves, right? And it's like this
Well,
black
even
hole
like
kind of energy.
cults or when you're in a place where you're working for a mission that's not actually yours and it's their mission, you can get sort of encapsulated with their structure and your sun can almost really go out. So a lot of people talk about lighting that inner fire. A lot of times they're in a belief system, religion, they're in a structure that has actually encapsulated their sun. And so working out how to remove that structure and get back to their natural structure so their sun can shine is also really
Mhm.
important. So yeah.
So beautiful. I love it. It's
Okay,
so
so the
powerful.
visual I see on the relationships, thanks to Mother Nature. So I see it like a flower garden. So if you imagine you have soil and then you have flowers sticking up and you may have some weeds as well. Um, each of us are a flower. And the soil is what's created potentially after we're born. This might come through as we're talking, it might get more. But it could be things that have happened to us in our past, our trauma, um, our belief system, things we've been told this is the way the world is. That's the soil we're living in. And so, what I feel like you can do is you can actually replant yourself into a different soil. So the soil I'm trying to plant myself into is high vibration. So love, peace, joy, freedom, all of those feelings is the soil I want to live in. But I have to do my internal work to clean the soil. So as traumas come up that have energies in them of fighting, anger, sadness, I need to process those. I need to release them from my soil. And so that's my job. But then you have people around you, you can't control their soil, but you can be an example and just talk to them about how you've cleaned your soil so they can do the work that's right for them. And their body will know what that work is, whether it's slowing down, whether it's going on a holiday, whether it's plant medicine, things like that, you will start to hear and get really cold to something as your body's ready to clear the next piece in your soil. So as relationships goes, if I think of my husband as a flower in front of me, um, I can see energies that come at me that are from his soil. And so I can say, change, change, change. But I'm not the one that can do that work. He has to do that work. I can clear my soil and I can realize what is coming up in me that's creating that energy that his action's doing, and then work on myself. Um, and something I was speaking to you about was seeing the flower, not just the soil. So when we meet someone and we're dating them, there may be things that are non-negotiable to us. Um, but it's really sitting with uh, the things, the ideal flower. If you see that, a lot of us women, we see men's souls, we see their potential. So we're seeing them as the flower, and then they bring in all this soil and energy that they're sitting in, and we leave. Or we're like, okay, I'm going to go find another flower. You're not the right flower for me. And so with Ryan and I, we met and we both had a lot of healing to do. We were both in pretty dirty soil for ourselves. I mean, you're always cleaning your soil, right? Um, and we both went into the healing journey together, which is beautiful. If he hadn't done the healing journey and was just like, I'm just going to stay as I am, that's great. But my decision is I want this flower that doesn't have all this soil, but I'm going to be patient. I'm going to give you time to work on it. And I'm going to have boundaries so you can actually see what's in your soil. And it actually took me up until about a month ago to realize what the word boundary means. Like that, I thought a boundary was like putting up a fence. Like, isn't that what that means in English language? But I was told, I didn't even know if it was chat GTP. I was like, what is this boundary? I'm doing this wrong. But it's actually something that you do. So you can feel, oh, what he's doing is making me feel tight inside, or I'm starting to not be able to breathe, or I'm getting emotional. I'm going to remove myself from this situation. And so me removing myself makes him stop and be like, oh, I don't want my wife removing herself. What came up in me when she removed herself? And so a lot of the time we take on their soil problem and they never know about it. So they'll do something like leave the house and not kiss you goodbye. And you're like, you didn't kiss me goodbye. And they're like, I can't do anything right. How dare, whatever. And you're like, what? I just wanted love. And now they're like, well, now you're yelling at me. And you're like, I'm yelling. And I just, you just keep
Yeah.
going. And then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm yelling, give you a hug. And I fix whatever reaction he had to me saying I needed something. So maybe there's something there with him not feeling enough in his childhood and he could never achieve, when someone else who didn't have that would be like, "Oh, I didn't kiss you. Oh, come here. Let's kiss," right? But
Yeah.
um if I keep holding that trauma for him and soothing him, he will never learn to soothe himself. He will never find that trauma. And I feel like us women hold that and soothe that and help those emotions with our partners, with our friends, with our kids. And so we're spending a lot of time holding all this energy that isn't ours to hold and isn't ours to work on.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we
This is
don't
like,
allow other people to work on it.
yeah. And this is like a huge realization I've had in the last 4 or 5 months. I did actually, okay, so there's so many thoughts, but the first is this idea of how do we change our lives? We change our environment and we change our outward environment and our inward environment, right? And it's
Yeah,
interesting, we both have this like huge association with real estate. Yours is much 100 million, but kind of real estate stuff. But
that's my
like
past
I've
life.
just started doing this renovation company with one of my business partners, and we're just doing like this. The physical environment is very key to our 3D experience on planet Earth and our spiritual experience, right?
Yeah.
And so it's explain like your physical environment and the physicality of human life, of you're born and you're perfect, and
Yes.
you're loved and you're unconditionally loved, and you know that you're deserved to be unconditionally loved. And then there's, all this programming, and there's all these belief systems, and there's all this trauma and all these things that kind of create this other body around us, this 3D aspect of us.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what you're getting at, is like we have this body bag and this programmed kind of aspect of the 3D part of us. And when we see someone and we're like, I see your soul and you are amazing. And when you can see through into that person, then there's an understanding that there's these two aspects, and dividing them actually can really help when you're looking at someone and going, I see you, but I also invite you to step out of the body bag experience and into more of your highest self. And I'll be patient with you. I'll work with you. And I'm not going to just dump you because I see your body bag that all of us have.
Mhm.
But it's important. So like I see the flower, but I also recognize that your environment has created what your experience are, and sometimes you're wilted, or sometimes you're not in the sun. Like there's just a different experience of the physical experience of being on planet Earth versus our soul, right?
Yes, exactly. And then another thing that's really helped me is the movie concept. So I'm living in a movie that I'm watching. My husband's living in a movie that he's watching. Our souls love each other. So when we get confrontation, pause and be like, wait a sec, you're watching a different movie than I'm watching.
Yeah.
And curious about that movie because there's obviously information I don't know because I'm feeling defensive. I'm feeling like we're at war, and we aren't at war. Our souls aren't at war. Our souls love each other. So something is off here.
Yeah.
So tell me about your movie that you experienced when we had this argument. I'll tell you about my movie that we experienced. And then we come together with empathy. We come together with understanding each other. Um, but that isn't that easy, just so you know.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
you,
we're all story
yeah,
making machines, right? We're just
yeah.
constantly
And if
making up our
we're
own story.
hurt,
And then it's like, what's your story of with the exact same experience?
yeah.
But because all of my programming and all my
There's
stuff,
right
it's
and wrong, right?
projecting onto a screen
Mhm.
that's completely different story.
And
So
I'm
fascinating.
100% right about my movie. I'm right because I watched it, right? he's 100% right about his movie, but if our movies are different, if how we're seeing the situation is different, then you're going to be at war
There's a
because
misunderstanding.
yeah, you're right. No, I'm right. You're right. Anyway, but I see it as we live in a world, so there's the energetic world and then there's the non-energetic world, which is like the physical world. So we live in a black and white world. In the energetic world, there's a middle, which people call gray, but I think it's like pink. You sort of add a love to it. And so living in the pink is the goal, not in the black and white. And so realizing, okay, I'm stuck in right and wrong here. I'm in black and white. How do I get into the middle here? How do I get into nothingness, into really holding my partner in the black and white? And that is harder than it sounds. It's like, oh,
So
just do nothing. No, you have to, your black and white is like beating at you. And then it's like, okay, let's put them on a little chair over here,
So can
sit
we
and
go
hold
back
it.
to this idea of like taking on other people's emotions? Because
Yeah.
I think this is actually a really key part, especially for women. And
Mhm.
it's like we're coming into this age over the last 50 years where we can actually stop doing it. Like
Mhm.
what we've done as the physically weaker species on planet Earth for millennia is we've adapted to become more emotionally intelligent, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so we can see when a man disintegrates or a man is in his trauma or a man is in a goes into what we cite as dangerous
Yeah.
emotions,
Yep.
sadness, anger, like
Mhm.
it's
And our
shame.
nervous systems are there to protect us. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, so we immediately notice it even before they notice it, and
Hmm.
we take away their emotion. We own it, or we remove it. If they start feeling shame, we go, oh no, no, it's fine. We placate. We
Mm.
make sure that he doesn't go into that emotion so that we feel safe.
Yes.
But what the impact is we create emotionally handicapped men, and
Hmm.
we have massive amounts of resentment,
Yep.
right?
Uh,
And so we're in this cycle, and yet, like, we're at a stage where we can leave and we can have a bank account and we can have a home and we can have a job for the first time in a very long time, right? Like, we can
Yeah.
actually take care of ourselves, and we can leave if he hits us. And so, like, all of these things that I just want to like call out to women and
Yeah.
go, like, stop doing it because we don't have to anymore. And even though there's
Yeah.
a trigger and you want to, but like, let him become emotionally sovereign. And
Hmm.
what if we do that and we come and we're both allowed to be in the full power of our sons? But we can't do that if we're taking on other people's energy or we're giving away our energy, right?
Right. And I feel like, so that's what Ryan and I have been working on, and we are not perfect, and it's been super hard. Um, because as you take it on as a woman, I've realized my fight or flight, when I get out of safety as a woman, whether it's this lifetime or past lifetimes, we have been killed. We have been, the whole village has been turned against us. Um, we have become the scapegoat and we've put ourselves in that situation. And so, by the meaning of scapegoat, it's when you hold someone accountable for what they're doing, they then put it back on you, on your actions of what that did to them. So, you screamed at me, you yelled at me, you're crazy. And now everything becomes about your action. So you become the scapegoat, and then they tell their friends, oh, see this action, this person's crazy. And then the tribe, the herd, your community only sees that. And so usually the action you're holding them accountable for is behind closed doors. It's not in front of friends, but usually your trigger comes up around people when they do it again or they don't do what they said they were going to do. Because sorry isn't enough. Sorry, I did this to you. So if your brother hits you and you're let's say, sorry, I won't do it again, that feels really good. And your parents are great for helping that. But what is missing is the how did your brother feel when you hit you? How did you feel? What was you feeling when you hit him? And just understanding that and then saying, wow, I made my brother feel unsafe. I'm going to repair this and come up with a structure that makes him feel safe. Hey, brother, my brother's Adrian. I I'm really sorry I hit you and that hurt. Um, I was really triggered by something you said. It made me feel ugly. So next time you do that, I'm actually going to step out of the room instead of hit you. And so now you're helping set up an energetic structure with your relationship to make that person feel safer. And so in a relationship, that is super important. If someone keeps saying sorry, but they don't actually know the emotion that came up in them, they don't know then how to control it, that doesn't make us women feel safe. And I've realized safety isn't actually like holding us, keeping the door locked. Safety is knowing the men, knowing emotions coming up in their body, being able to catch them and being able to control them before they come out to you. Because then we have to control them, we have to catch them, we have to make the field safe. And so a man holding us isn't a calm man. It's not a man that says, I don't get triggered. I'm perfect. It's a man that says, I love being triggered. When I'm triggered, I love finding out about myself. I lean into myself. I lean into my trauma. I will protect you because I'm going to do the work in that area. That is freaking safety to me. That's so sexy. Like when Ryan stops and he says, I'm going to leave the room because something's going on, I'm just like, you are so freaking sexy. Like, this is amazing. Like, and that's what they're not taught. They're taught to be calm and it just builds up and then it comes out and then we have to handle it and we have to keep ourselves safe. Um, but the work is hard. And once we stop taking it on,
Yeah.
it actually gets worse because the tools, men, I don't feel have been given tools to cope with emotions that come up with them. And so it actually elevated for us as I started not taking it on. And it was beautiful, but really hard to watch and realize, wow, these skills haven't been taught to men. Men have been told, don't cry, be tough. Um, and so they think they're doing the right thing. They're honestly not trying to do the wrong thing, but the energetic structure of the world they're in has just put them in this situation. But I do feel like it starts with us and starts with us not taking it on so they can see it. And then they have the choice. Do I want to lean into this or do I not? If they don't, we have to keep our boundary and we have to be, that is not welcome in my field. This is not welcome in my house. If
Yeah.
you go there, you must leave or I must leave. But
And so
leave,
Jenny,
yeah.
share how you look at it like, hey, I'm inviting you. I'm going to allow you to step into your highest self. And I know it's going to be messy and I know it's going to be hard. And
Yeah.
we're creating this new energetic structure and there's always chaos before new order. So
Mhm.
just we're expecting that. But I you can go and find someone that will accept you in
Yeah.
your disintegrated state or in your traumas or in your stories and in your like go and if you want to stay in that energetic state where you're not growing and stepping into more and more of your highest self, then that's okay. It's
Yeah.
right. So speak
You're
to that
giving me
because I
super
felt that was so
direct.
empowering.
It sounds so easy, but first thing is safety in yourself. So, um, I realized after my dad kept me so safe in our house, and then I left, I came to America for college, and I thought that was a man's role. So I kept looking outbound. I needed my man to keep me safe. So the first thing is feeling safe in your body and realizing you're your safety. So when your emotions come up and roar, you don't need them to hug you. You need to first work out, okay, what is this? You need to do the same process to yourself. You need to sit with where did that come from, hold it, try and release it and hug it. So keeping yourself safe. The next thing is security. Being able to leave. A lot of women can't. They might be stay-at-home moms. They've never had a credit card in their name before. They don't have a house. They're not making the income. So actually leaving may not be a boundary you can do. So just working out how can I start to create a structure in my life where I'm not scared to do that. And that could be a beautiful sisterhood, right? Where we have a spare room and it's like you can always come here. Because leaving the house doesn't mean leaving the relationship. It can just mean you're getting a timeout and you're looking after yourself and your emotions. You're actually teaching the men how to do it as you start to do it for yourself.
Mm.
So getting making sure you feel like you can actually do a boundary. So first is setting up your life so that you can start doing this with the person in your life. Yeah, and that's the first few steps. Once you have that, then you can it is really having the conversation. So when I met Ryan, I saw him as, and I'll say this now, but Bill Gates isn't now with all the stuff that he's involved with, isn't like the person you say. But I saw Ryan's essence. I was like, you're like a Bill Gates. He was going through a hard time. He just out of his divorce and was struggling. He didn't see himself as that, but that's who I saw him as. And I was like, I see you as this. I'm going to hold you to what I see you as. It may not come out gracefully. I don't yet have the words for this, but just know everything I'm doing is I can see you. I believe in you. I like, and men love to be seen. A lot of times they've had to put on this fakeness and they have to supply through structure and money and everything, but we want them to supply through this energetic safety, and they're not taught that. So they are almost in an acting role, have never been seen, have never been allowed to take a break, to be in stillness, to feel themselves. And so to really let them know you're here to make them the best self. You're not perfect. You may not do it gracefully, but that's what you want to do. Are they in? They also have to take ownership, and your body can't heal unless it's your choice. So it's really important for them to say to you, yes, I'm in. And it's also important to know they're conscious. There may be something around their sun blocking them. So you may tell them this, but it's actually a feeling. You'll know when that block has gone because they can say, yeah, sure. And then you're just hitting against it. But it's really an energetic change where they're like, okay, I don't know where you're leading me, but I trust you and I'm going to go. Because guys build structure, like they build the physical, they have the home. Um, but we build energetically for the house. We're the ones that build this energetic structure to make them step into, to start the healing. And once a big realization for Ryan was when he said, oh, I'm not leading, you're leading. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you lead the energy and then I build the structure on top of that. And I was like, oh, wow. Because you build the structure and then you're like fit into my structure and then you're like doing this. But it's really a flip of really trusting you're knowing that you're doing the best thing, and then trying to put words into what I'm talking about.
Well, it makes
It's
me
in
think of
the man voice. Like they have total different words. Like the sun and all this stuff is over here. And if I talk to him about like dating and hugging and how we'll get intimate with each other, that's the man's voice. So yeah.
and it comes back to the very beginning of the introduction of you, which is like this universal oldest truth that took you on this path of amazing success, is just that vibration precedes form,
Yeah.
right?
So that's a crazy story. Can I tell a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
tell
Okay.
it.
So I am 6 feet tall and my arms are 4 inches, 12 centimeters longer than my height. So it's
Nice.
supposed to be the same. So I've got
Yeah.
super long arms. And at like 12, 13 in Australia, just being a 6 foot at that age, and coordinated, I was good at every sport I did. And then in 92, 93, they announced we had the 2000 Olympics in Australia. And they created a talent identification program. Australia was like 17 million people, the size of Texas. How are we going to compete and win medals against America, 300 plus million? And so they actually created this program around the German program that was all about identifying athletic bodies and then putting them into the best psychology, best training, best everything, and spitting them out as an athlete. So I went through all these tests. It's called a VO2 max, where they do your lungs, all the height, everything. And they said, you're going to be winning a gold medal at the Olympics in 2000 in rowing. I'm like, freaking rowing? Like, I'm bigger than that boat. I'd never touched a boat in my life. But I went into the program, and within 9 months, I made the junior national team, was traveling to Poland, traveling around the world. And then I made the under 23, and then I made the national team. And so the concept worked, but the training they gave us was all about what you vibrate on the inside is how what's going to come. So we would do float tanks where we had race the Olympic race over and over. Then just a lot of positive reinforcement. We do the thing where you hang the coin and you can
Pendulum.
see that what you think the pendulum, yeah, and how it would move in different ways. Like you can actually make it move with your intention and with your thought, and just realizing that there's frequencies and vibrations out there, and um, what you put out can actually create the world around you. So I was highly trained in this, but didn't realize this wasn't normal. I thought everyone's trained in this. Like I
When
just
you're
thought
a kid, you're just like,
everyone at 13 goes into this program. The interesting thing about the program, it was built off a German program that was for cults, the Hitler program, where you get everyone to follow you. So the idea is you're manifesting, you're doing all of this for a goal. The programs are designed for a goal that's not your soul's goal. So my goal was gold medal in Australia. And then when I went to the University of Washington, it became a similar program. Our goal was to win for the W, so it's to win for a brand. When I left that and went to TV, the goal was ratings and winning for Kyra 7, CBS. My tech company, the goal is for the tech company, right? And so it came to a point about 5, 6 years ago, I was like, wait a sec, I have these skills on winning. What if I won for my soul and what my mission is? And so that's the goal, is to do this for you. What is your soul mission? What were you born to do in this world? Um, and then add these concepts to that. If we can win for medals and ego and the world's gain, can we win for ourselves, our soul, for love, peace, joy? And I really believe we can. And so that's sort of the concept of where this all comes from.
oh my gosh,
What are you
that
doing right now? You're like,
is so incredible. I love it so
let's
much. What
go.
an incredible like the way to start your journey on planet Earth is getting these codes for
Yeah.
knowing how to create first in the energetic realm and in vibration, and then what your journey has been of figuring out how to create for self rather than for the programs that you were put in to create for others, right? And it's
Yeah.
not wrong to win for a team or to
Mhm.
help a company or whatever. What's the difference for you in now creating Sapphire Salt and starting your own companies, that those other companies that you've created, like Tagboard and all those other
Yeah.
ones? But what have you
So
noticed?
I feel like the roadmap was first stillness. So getting into stillness, which is really hard in our busy lives with kids, with all the commitments we have with work. I mean, you're under pressure to pay bills. And a beautiful soul sister taught me about negative motivation and positive motivation. So if you think of yourself on a train track and you're motivated by, shoot, I have to pay my rent this next month. So you're stepping away and you get things, but you're always stepping away. She told me that I needed to turn around and be motivated by my dreams. And that's when you start really fulfilling. So just realizing what motivation are you in right now? And then working out, can I pivot to be in this inspired in this positive motivation versus being motivated by the negative cycle, which I would call that the machine, right? You're going to work, you got your bills, everything like that. How do you step out of the machine and step into flow state with yourself? So it's
And
really,
so what would
yeah,
be your advice to people to do that? Like it for me, it's just stillness, like
it's
stopping,
so stillness and
listening. But
stopping.
what is it for you?
I'm gonna grab something real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, because immediately I was just like, the what is it that all of these people, all of us, what I do so that I'm not there?
This
It's just
is
meditate, right?
right. So visuals are so important because when you visualize, that's when things start to come into reality for you. So this is the visual for me on how I was going to do that. So this is actually power isn't movement. Power is this. So sitting in this state, getting into stillness, and that's how you create power around you. Um,
I have
so
the exact same one. It's a little smaller, but I
good.
could run and get
Yes.
it. We could
I
like
just
hold it
put
up
it
together.
everywhere.
But it is. I'm
Yeah,
opening a yoga studio right now, and I'm my mantra is yoga is the answer for everything. It's just like
totally. Yeah.
just if you're stressed, do
Mm-hmm.
yoga. If you're not in alignment, do yoga. It's
Yoga.
just
Yeah.
get still, like just slow down,
Right.
yoke your mind to your body, and you can figure it like you did when you developed Sapphire Salt. You guys got still for 30 days.
Right. And the
But so
first thing
much
we
comes from
did was, what is our purpose? What is winning to me every day? So before that, we met through real estate, and then Ryan's been a builder his whole life. And then he taught me the building concept, which, um, yeah, so we started doing that. But I was waking up every day being very successful, helping my man on his purpose, but I didn't have purpose. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, we're doing really well. We're spending a lot of time together, but I'm just dying on the inside. So in this stillness, it was really important for both of us to say, what is our passion and purpose? If I could get up every day and create in this, what would it be? And then for us, we it was important to be doing it together. For you, you may be like, okay, I don't have this partner yet, so I'm going to be in this mode to call in someone that sees me in this mode. And so I'm passionate about women entrepreneurs. I'm passionate about mothers and helping them create stillness and get to a good cadence for them. And then Ryan was passionate. He's really passionate about men and all these things, but not those didn't cross over. Then we started talking about what is a common passion, and we're both really passionate about raising the vibration of families because we're a blended family, and we just see how working on ourselves and creating that environment in our house has affected our kids, and then it affects your friends. And we were like, wow, if we could wake up every day educating people on how to raise the vibration in their household, how to do conscious living daily to raise their vibration, frick, I'd be so happy. I'd be jumping out of bed if I could do that. And so then that's when the product came that is actually a tool for us to educate. So this salt that you put on in the heart of your home, it's teaching you if you drop into love as you're cooking, that love is an energy that actually goes to the food, and now you're spreading high vibration to your family, and we can educate people on what that means. What does even the word high vibration mean? So on here I was very careful not to trigger anyone because you want as many people to get it. I had ritual, and one of my friends was like, no, 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 change that to tradition because where I grew up that wasn't right. And so very conscious of the wording that you allow everyone to feel safe because again, they're not going to get these love codes if they're in fight or flight and not safe, and I trigger them. But it does say high vibration table salt, and I did that on purpose because I want people to say, what is high vibration? Because then that's when the education can start. So then
That
after
ignite
we,
curiosity.
right, so after we worked out our purpose, so you work out your purpose you want to wake up to every day, but without any job or anything there, and then put the structure. So you see how you're putting the energetic structure first,
Yeah.
then you put the structure. So a lot of people put the structure first. I want to work in the sports industry. I want to work in this. Versus they put their purpose and energetic happiness first, and
Yeah.
then they put the structure on top. So
So
that's
good.
sort of the formula for how I'm now. That was the winning for myself. And then I add all the elements and the training that I had to do that for myself in this life. So that's the phase I'm in for the first time in my life. I'm going for myself to win. Yay.
Yay! I'm so excited to just see what that looks like because you winning is pretty magnificent
Well,
as
and
a
then
theme.
you talked
So,
about rising each other as well. Um, that's something that also I didn't realize I was trained in or I had the codes for. But at the University of Washington, we won when I was a junior, we won the national championship. So it's a team of 80 women. So the top two boats travel, they're boats of eight, and then six boats of eight. I don't know if the math's right, but anyway, that's how many women there are. Six boats of eight help you train. So there is, when you win, only the top two boats get a ring, but the other women have helped you train. They're so important to this as well. It's like your whole team.
yeah,
And so when we won that year, we got the ring. And to get a ring and be a national champion, it's like you have to lift a car off someone. Like you have to have that incentive to win. And our team had that because none of us had win. And that's also a lot of ego, right? I'm going to have this national champion. Like you're going for something that's physical, and it's not for anyone else. I'm going to win so I can tell my friends. It's very individual type of
yeah.
way to compete. So then my senior year, I was captain, and I'm like, how the heck am I going to get us to win back to back? Because the top two boats didn't have that desire. They were going out, they were getting drunk, they were partying. Now we're national champions, we're sort of famous on campus. And I was like, this is not going to go down well. Like Washington's coming to race, and we're all just like haven't had any sleep. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make us internally competitive because you have to sort of play off the ego, right? No one wants to lose their spot in the boat. And so I went and started working with the eighth boat and I worked out with them and I helped them get faster and I just spent all my time with them. And then they started beating the seventh boat. And so the seventh boat was like, I don't want to lose my seat. And so they started working out, they started beating the sixth boat. And over a course of a few months, it got so competitive internally that the top girls had to start working out if they wanted to make the boat. And so the way we won that year, it wasn't looking out of the boat. We weren't trying to beat Brown. We weren't trying to beat any other team. We were trying to rise each other to make ourselves better. And so that's the concept of how we all rise together is I want you to be so great because then that brings out the greatness in me
Totally.
versus just being really individual. So it's
Yeah.
a real concept of being competitive in such a collaborative way
Yeah.
where you're just competing with yourself. And I want you to be the freaking best you can be. And I would love you to beat me because then that's going to rise me. It's going to make me better. And we only have one
Totally.
life. So,
I have this athlete on my ski team, and she, at the beginning of the year, was quite not as good as the rest of the team. But I was like, "Yeah, you probably will go on a different team." And she was like, "No, I want to be on this team. I'll work for it. Like, I can do the
wow.
moguls. I can ski the races." Like, she's just excited about it. And so, and she's getting most improved. And I always say, like, if you want to become a better skier, ski with people better than you.
Yeah.
And she did that all season and she's improved more than any of the skiers on our team. So
Yeah.
it's so true, like a rising tide rises all ship, and you're just like such a stand for everyone in your life, and you have such a beautiful mother's heart. I love this so much. I'm so grateful that we could have
Oh
this
my God.
conversation, that the world can hear. I hope so many people can just hear your message and your stories and be inspired by you to be their son, to rise up and just lift the people around them by just being themselves and being all of who they can be,
Well,
and
I
to
want to
have those
thank
boundaries.
you.
Like, so much to take from this
I
podcast.
want to
So
thank you
thank
for
you.
seeing me and making me feel safe. I have to admit, I went into hiding after being so successful because rising, you do get a lot of the jealousy and things like that. And I don't need it. I don't want it. And so this is like my first podcast I've done in a long time because I feel safe from you and I feel like I can go back into the world as my true self. Um, and we can all rise together. And if anyone comes attacking, we all got them together.
Yeah, we
So
got you.
I'm so grateful for you. Thank you.
Love you so much. Okay, have an amazing day. Thank you for listening and watching, and bye for now.
Bye.